It's fatty in all the wrong places.
Bobby, what are you doing? Don't insult a man's steak without tasting it. You'll get us killed.
Hey guys, welcome back to the shop. It's your boy Round Tall Guy. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, drop a like, subscribe, support the channel. On today's video, I'm working on the 2008 Jeep Commander, and today I'm going to show you how to restore or how to fix your aluminum rims on these vehicles. Now for some reason, over time, these Jeep Commanders, the rims, like the clear coating on the rim, tends to bubble up or peel away. So it makes the rim look hideous and really ugly than what it is. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to fix it. Alright guys, so this is one of the Jeep Commander's rims. If you notice, there's a lot of ugly bubbling and peeling of the clear coat on each spoke here. You can see over here, you can actually peel it away, so it's pretty nasty. Honestly, if you look closely, there's no real like roll rash or curve rash on the rim itself. So it should be an easy touch up or an easy restoration for this. That being said, let me show you the materials we're using for this job. Alright guys, these are the things I'm going to use to fix up that rim. First, we're going to go ahead and we're going to strip any old paint or any old clear coat away from the rim. So using this paint stripper is awesome, and it honestly saves so much time. So far, I already restored 3 of the rims. So that being said, you only need 1 can of this because I still have a good amount, and I'm down to one last rim. Honestly, this is the most expensive item you're gonna buy. This right here costs about 15 bucks. The rest of this, the alcohol costs about $2. This one's $4, $7, and then $7. So we're gonna first use the stripper. We're gonna strip away any old paint, any old clear coat. Then we're gonna wash it with some pressurized water. Then we're gonna dry it up with some shop towels, and then we're gonna use some alcohol to remove any water residue. Then once we've done this, we're gonna take a wire wheel like this. This is a cheap Walmart drill that I bought. We're just gonna use a cheap wire wheel, and we're gonna scrape off any remaining clear coat or any remaining paint flicks from the rim. Once we're done that, then we're gonna go ahead and dry it up again, clean it up with some water, some alcohol, and then we can get ready to prime it using the primer here. Honestly, you want to use a primer because this is going to fill in any deep scratches or any grooves that you created with the wire wheel. Once we're done that, then we're going to hop over to this wheel paint. Now I just chose this wheel paint. You can pick anything you want, but this is the closest thing to the factory color, so I'm going to use this right here. And then at the end, we're going to put in the new clear coat. You want to make sure that you have a clear coat that can withstand like the elements. This one over here is Automotive graded, so it's nice and rugged for this type of application. Also, you want to make sure that the clear coat is not going to yellow over time and is UV protected. So that's basically all you need to restore the rim. So let me show you how I do it real quick. Alright guys, and before we get started, we want to put some proper PPE on. So we need a respirator, we need some goggles, and we need some gloves because the paint thinner, the paint stripper is pretty toxic and it's pretty nasty. Same thing with the other ingredients. So you want to make sure you have the proper PPE before you start. So I'm just going to put this on. Alright guys, so the first step is we're going to apply this paint stripper onto the aluminum rim. Now if you want to protect your rubber or if you want to protect your tires, you want to make sure that you cover this up with some kind of plastic or some kind of like tape so that this stripper does not get on the rubber, because it will dry up the rubber over time. As for me, I'm going to change out the tires because they're completely trashed and I have like 4 mismatched tires and stuff like that, so I'm going to replace it, so I don't care. So the first step is we're going to apply this. We're going to apply it everywhere. Alright guys, so the next step is I'm going to go ahead and take the rim. I'm going to go ahead and put it outside. I'm going to take a pressure washer. I'm just going to clean up the rim. I'm going to remove all the chemicals and all the flakes. And then from there, we're going to see what we need to scrape or clean up after. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and clean up the rim. I have my Harbor Freight pressure washer here. Just keep in mind you want to make sure that you wear goggles or something so that the stripper doesn't bounce back at you. So I'm going to go ahead and just clean it up real quick. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I washed out the rim. If you take a look at it, over here it's nice and clean. We still have a lot of disgusting like adhesive clear coat on this, so I'm going to show you how to scrape that off. But right now I'm just going to dry it up a little bit so I can use the wire wheel, and I'm going to show you how to clean up the rim even more. Now if you're going to tackle this job at home, you want to remove the center cap, and you also want to remove this wheelway here, because when it comes to spraying and painting, you want to make sure you get into the crevices. But I'm just going to leave it on just because I'm making a how-to video, and I really don't want to spend any more time removing these two stuff, so I'm just going to leave it on. But in your case, you want to go ahead and remove this and that, and if you want a nice clean result, because the moment you're going to get the car rebalanced, they're going to remove this weight, and you're going to have this spot right here that you never painted. So you want to go ahead and remove that. As for the video, I'm just going to leave it on just because. Alright guys, so we use the paint stripper to remove the clear coat. Honestly, you could do this multiple times. You can put another layer of stripper and do it again until you get to the bare metal. I honestly don't like doing that just because it does eat up on the aluminum and also the rubber. So to speed this up, I'm going to go ahead and use a wire wheel. Now a tip on using a wire wheel on this, basically you want to let the wheel do all the job. You don't want to apply that much pressure, and basically you just want to work slowly down, up, down, until you get this whole surface clean. Just focus on one area at a time. And also once you get to this part right here, since the wheel rotation is wants to go this way, what I recommend is on this side, go down this way, and then when you get to this side, flip it over and go this way. This way is by doing that, you keep the wheel from jumping. So I'm gonna go ahead and just clean up the surface real quick. I'm gonna put you on time lapse, and I'll get back to you. Alright guys, so I went ahead and I wire brushed the whole wheel. If you take a look at it, honestly it looks way better than it did before. So now I'm going to go ahead and get some alcohol. I'm just going to go ahead and wipe it down. I already went ahead and I dusted. I took off all the dust. So I'm just going to wipe it down with alcohol to make sure that there's no contaminants and make sure this is fully solid aluminum. And what I like about the wire brush that it creates little scratches, little fine scratches, so it should help the paint stick to it better. Now this is the main reason why we're going to use the primer. The primer is going to fill in all the little fine scratches. Now honestly, this is not the professional way to do it. You definitely want to use some sandpaper for this. You want to go from like 80 grit to like 160, 200, 300, etc. But this is my way of restoring these rims. If you guys don't like it, watch another professional video. As I mentioned, I'm not professional. I'm definitely an amateur when it comes to this. All right, once it's nice and clean, I'm going to go ahead and bring it inside the garage, away from the winds, dust, and bugs. And I think we're ready to use the primer for this. Alright guys, so we're ready to spray paint, but before I do that, I'm going to use this index card just to protect the tire itself, because I definitely don't want any paint on the tire. So we're going to use this index card just to create a barrier. Alright guys, so now we're ready to spray paint. I'm going to use this gray primer right here I'm just gonna start off with a light coat. I'm gonna let it dry for about 5 minutes, and then apply the second coat, and then after 5 minutes, I'm gonna apply the third coat. Once I apply the third coat, I'm gonna let it rest for about like 10 to 20 minutes. Let the primer really like, you know, bake in there, and then we're gonna go ahead and put the base coat. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put the base coat. I'm going to put this one right here. You can use any color you want, but I prefer this one. I'm going to put 3 coats as well, giving about 10-minute breaks in between to let it dry so I don't have any running paint. So I'm just going to get that done real quick. Now if you want professional results, you could sand the primer down before you put the base coat. I honestly can care less. They're rims, they're meant to get dirty and scratched up and banged up. But if you wanted a 100% professional look, you want to sand this down, but I can care less. Alright guys, so I finished putting the last base coat on, and just to recap, I put 3 coats of primer, 3 coats of base coat. I did let the rims sit around for about 20 minutes after the last coat, just to let it rest, let it like become solid. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put the clear coat. Now the clear coat you want to be really careful with, because clear coat is really tacky and really runny. So you want to make sure that you put light, even coats on both sides. Just keep changing the pattern. So I like to go this way and then this way to make sure I have even coverage around. And I like putting a light coats every time just to keep it from running and keeping the clear coat, base coat, and primer from creating like orange peel. So that basically, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and put the 3 coats of clear coat, and then we can finally see the final result, see if it looks good. Alright guys, after the final layer of clear coat, I went ahead and I stored the rims for the night. I waited 24 hours, so now we're going to see the end result. Let me show you how nice these rims came out. If you take a look at it right here, look how new and how shiny and how perfect the rims came out. Now mind you, I only put 3 layers of primer, 3 layers of base coats, and 3 layers of clear coats, and this is the end result. No, I didn't sand it. I didn't wet sand it. No, I didn't do any additional stuff off camera. If you take a look at it, it looks pretty nice. Obviously, you can see some imperfections, especially in the middle. You can see that there should have been some spots where I should have sanded it down. But I was being lazy, and this is mediocre work, but it came out pretty nice. Now, if you want a more professional result, you should wet sand it and make sure that, you know, there's no orange peel and stuff like that. But for me, this is an old Jeep. This is a old rim. I didn't mind, you know, just doing this mediocre work to make it nice and pretty. But honestly, compared to the original, this looks really, really good. As for supplies, I spent about $50 on all the spray cans and stuff like that. And mind you, I did this whole job just with paint stripper and a wire wheel, and it came out pretty nice. Now if you want to fix up your rims for cheap, I recommend doing this. But of course, you know, your rims, your problems. You guys want to do it professionally and stuff, you can look up other videos. This is just how I did it for this cheap Jeep. And if you look around the car, this is the other rim. It looks nice as well. And of course the other two. This one came out nice. And this one came out nice as well. I honestly love the end results on all 4 rims. I think I did a pretty good job. So that's basically it. Go ahead and try it out. I know for a fact a lot of these Jeep Commanders, the clear coat always peels and bubbles up like the way my rims did. So if you guys want to clean it up for cheap, 50 bucks. I spent about, I'll say 4 hours, like 1 hour per, not even 1 hour, more like 30 minutes per rim, so 2 hours to get this whole thing done. If you guys are gonna do this, just keep in mind that you shouldn't drive your vehicle for at least 48 hours. Let the paint really cure. But yeah, simple job, cheap job. You can get it done in 1 day, 1 weekend. All right guys, so I'm gonna end the video here. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, consider subscribing. All right guys, I'll catch you later. See ya. Bye bye.